Welcome to another Friday, and today we got Shaman King episode 13, The Road to the Patch Village starts, and it might be my favorite episode? Our heroes gather as they head to America to find the Patch Village and begin the shaman fight officially, but they soon encounter their biggest obstacle yet, Hao himself. Now, we've had a lot of fun talking about Shaman King so far, but I want to know what you think of this episode. Right now, drop it in the comments, start the conversation. It's the most important part, and while you're down there, consider clicking the subscribe button. If you enjoy these Shaman King reviews, if you enjoy the rest of the content that I do, it does wonders to get it all out there, and you'll always be aware of whenever I upload more great content. And the first half of this episode is just insane. I virtually love everything about it. I love everyone gathering their thoughts and taking their time with saying goodbye to their friends, their families, their home as they're going to this strange place in America and supposedly they can never return to their world. We have Yo and Manta grabbing some snacks and strolling around in the afternoon. Tamao and Anna dealing with the process of quote-unquote losing Yo very differently, and we see the vulnerable side of Hana eventually when she talks to Yo while he's supposedly asleep. We see Ryu gathering his thoughts, saying goodbye to his friends at the temple as he reminisces about the good times they had. Even Pirika, Horohoro's sister, is dealing with this really badly. She doesn't want to lose her brother. And then we have Amidamaru and Tokagero talking about why they're dealing with this, why our group of heroes are friends in the first place if they might end up fighting each other in the tournament. And Amidamaru has this really beautiful speech about being with friends is what makes it even better than if you were all alone out there. Just these first 5 minutes of the episode are incredible to me, and then when we get to the airport and there's this kind of big festival there, everyone is gathered. Our heroes meet up with Ren and they stay together for a bit until they're attacked by Hao, who holds nothing back. He just throws himself at our heroes and starts to tease them with his words about how powerful he is, how small they are, how they wouldn't stand a chance. And he alludes to Yo that Yo is very important to him. He wants Yo to get stronger so they can meet in the battlefield one day. And I really love this. Immediately we present Hao fully on the show and show why he is a big threat. He knows more than he lets on. He easily disposes of Horohoro. Ren himself doesn't stand a chance, and these are the most powerful characters we've been following so far. So it's a really great way to introduce our main villain to our main characters, and it really works as well because we know what Hao is. We know who he is. We know what he means to Yo and what Yo means to him. So we're ahead of the characters in this mystery, and I think that really works for this show. I also really like that his entourage is all there already. All these followers of Hao are ready to step into the fight if our heroes decide to challenge him head on. And soon enough, they head to the plane, which everyone now goes in this plane, and Yo says hi to Hao as they're very apart in terms of where they're seated. This shouldn't have worked for me, but it really does, that Hao has nothing to lose. He doesn't care if they attack him, he can beat him. So when Yo says hi, he just says hi back, and vice versa. And they're all in this giant plane by the patch officiants, and turns out this plane is an oversoul, and suddenly, boom, they get dropped. There's a fucking elephant on the plane. There's a fucking kind of mech suit. It looks like a kind of mech suit or a spaceship. I'm not sure, but everyone just falls, which is insane. Insane details like this of how these things work. They're not realistic whatsoever, but I kind of love it because it stands out. I've never seen a hero's journey where they're traveling on plane, but hey, turns out we're going to drop you suddenly and you have to find your own way to wherever you have to go. And it really works to build this world of Shaman King in individualism. It stands out from the pack. No other thing works like this. So for all we know, at least half the people in that plane died. The shamans just fucking died and they're not making it to the Patch Village. And as our heroes are falling, they're bickering, they're getting teased a little bit more by how Yo just punches Horo in the face, and together with Ryu and Ren, all of them gather their Furyokus and Oversouls and land safely. Another big detail that I really love is that Ryu just can't find a ride like that, using Tokagero to make a big thumb, and he finds Billy, the guy who gave him a ride in the previous anime. I really love these details that these dudes are already best friends after one travel together, and they're immediately approached by Lily Rara, which was when the episode took a turn for me. And at first, I didn't like it. For the majority of it, I didn't like it. I really like this story of the Seminoans with the Patch Village, the previous reincarnation of Hao 500 years ago. I just didn't think it belonged in this episode at first, because we have essentially the same thing. Lily Rara attacking the shamans who want to make it to the Patch Village because she hates them, because the Patch Villain killed the Seminoans, and so she shows them the memory so they can feel the real pain, and as they see, it's someone with the spirit of fire that looks like Silver, but it can have been Silva 5 years ago, and turns out, obviously we know this, it's Hao. And so she lets them stay the night at her place. They go away in the next morning. And this is when another turn comes in that really hooked me. And it made sense for them to put the Lily Rara story together with a meeting of Hao. Because Hao fucking kills her. The spirit of fire fucking pierces her entire body with his big talons. He burns her. He burns her essence, her aura, her soul. She gets turned to dust. And I will repeat myself, what I said about the introduction of Hao being great apply to the very end of this episode, because it's fucking amazing. Now Hao, for us the audience, is a figure to be feared and send shivers down our spines, because he just murdered her. And so that guy that looked like Silva and was Hao 500 years ago, that was a mere reincarnation so he could get the spirit of fire. And now his plan is in full throttle. For all we know so far, his plan is working and he has everything he needs to become the future king. As I said previously, this might be my favorite episode of Shaman King. It's an amazing introduction to our villain. I loved everything that they did. I didn't like the addition of the Lily Rara episode or the story, but then when you bring it home with that ending scene of Hao just fucking killing her now that she did her job in showing the memories to our heroes and showing them what they're fighting for, why they're trying to stop Hao, it really works. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it gave us everything in it, especially since this is, in essence, also a setup episode for this next arc, for the arc to find the Patch Village, but it's this big Hao-centric episode that lets us know essential information about our hero, his motives, why we should fear him, why is he a big deal, and why should our heroes care. This episode was fucking awesome. I have nothing else to say. I really, really loved Shaman King episode 13. And if this was a regular season of anime, it would be like, what, 25, 26 episodes? This is the midpoint, and the stakes just changed brilliantly. This was freaking amazing. I have nothing else to say. I have no issues to point out. For me, obviously, if you have issues, it's all fine and dandy. Your opinion is as valid as mine. So with that said, let me know your thoughts on this week's Shaman King. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you like it a lot less? Did you like it even more? All of that, throw it in the comments, start the conversation. It's the most important part. And if you watched the video this far but still haven't subscribed, you should subscribe. You enjoyed it on some level. Do not lie to yourself, my friends. Thank you so much once more. You are the best. Stay tuned for many more reviews to come this week. I already have my reviews up for F9 and Batman The Long Halloween Part 1. Those were the two big reviews this week. So go check those out if you haven't yet. And until the next one, love each other and love the movies.